Okay.
Ash Wednesday, because it's Mardi Gras. Oh wait, everybody's Mardi Gras. I've had some of the best times ever at Mardi Gras. Ever.
I love that community ended up making the floats, making their house look like the float.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
so
cool.
cute. Yeah.
They should keep
Can't
that all
wait.
around.
Listen, we're all going to get back on the horse sooner than you know it.
Yeah. Wait. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Well, I guess we'll have to go to our resident expert on that subject. Power, what do you
I heard dildo.
Right. Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television talk show. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday, February 17th. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and let's start right off the bat by meeting tonight's excellent host. The It's Happening Out host roster tonight is made up of LGBTQ community titans. First, this is Power Infiniti, an original host of It's Happening Out. Power is a diva and a well-known DJ. See, I can do it. You did it. I did. He is also one of the LGBTQ community's strongest political voices. Good evening, Power.
Hey, how are you, Al? I'm very, very glad that you finally got that right after 3 weeks of fucking up the name. I'm ready to go.
And the reads and the shade begin. Next up, welcome Taisha Best. They are a queer, Latinx, polyamorous, femme presenting genderqueer switch whose transformative healing is connected to their career as an aeronautical sustenance engineer. I love that. Welcome, Taisha.
Hey everyone, welcome aboard. I'm glad to be here from Orlando this time. You never know where I'm at, so I always have to say the city and shout that out.
Exactly. And this is Faye. What? She is a radio host and has the popular YouTube channel and anchor of the new LGBTQ travel news show, Happening Out Travel. Good evening, Faye.
Hola, mi gente. As always, happy to be here. White privilege.
White. And see, shade. Everywhere there's shade. And welcome, Chef Josie. My friend will never do that to me. You know her from Bravo's Top Chef, and she's the master of the popular Bubbles and Pearls restaurant, the Champagne and Celebration restaurant here in South Florida. Good evening, Chef Josie.
Hey, good evening, Al. And no, you don't have to worry about shade from me, honey. But the only shade you might get from me is the shade of the brightness of my star.
And I'm still a little afraid of some of the shade that might be coming. Next up, let's welcome Allison Burgos. Is the woman behind Pandora Events. Now, if you're in the lesbian community, you knew instantly what that meant. The powerhouse LGBTQ event production company producing events like Girls in Wonderland in Orlando, Aqua Girl, Peach Atlanta, Women's White Party, and the official women's events at Miami Beach Pride. She founded Aqua Girl, the largest charity women's festival in the entire country, and co-founded its beneficiary, Aqua Foundation. Good evening, Allison.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. / we've been sitting home crying for a year now.
Yes, it's going to be fun. This is Tariq Turgeman. He represents diversity because he's queer, he's Guatemalan born, he's a Palestinian, he has Sicilian roots, and he's the host and comedian living in Miami. Creative director of South Florida's House of Yes! And Villain Theater's queer performance art collective, Florida's only all LGBTQIA+ improv comedy show. Welcome, Tarek.
Hola, hello. I was imported from Miami.
That's right. You come across the borderline today. With his passport, I might add.
Who's going to stamp it?
Yeah. I will. I'm the only one that can. I'm with TSA. So good evening, America. We are the first and most popular live LGBTQ talk show in the world. So much to talk about. Next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, you are watching a live and unedited LBT talk show.
LBT. That's right. Leave yourself out of there.
Cheese or sandwich.
It's so annoying anyway.
Live and a producer of the show standing in front of my camera. So I've just proved it's live. So anything can happen. And it just did. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and click the bell for updates. If you're on Facebook, like and share the video and start a watch party. It's super easy. Let's jump right into the show tonight. Let's begin with the unique meme of the week. We debated on calling this meme something to do with Power Infiniti, and frankly, I got a little scared and decided not to. But being gay in pandemic comes with an entire set of problems that our heterosexual counterparts don't necessarily experience in the same way. So, in COVID-19, here is the meme of the week. Watch this. And it's called hashtag Power Bottom Problems.
Oh.
Okay.
For Power to say, oh my. Okay.
Oh.
And then he said, I don't know if y'all heard him, he said, oh yes.
I was not ready.
Now,
What do y'all think?
can Gorilla Glue help that?
Oh no.
I guess.
I mean, I don't know. They should know better. You never do it on drywall.
Yeah.
A lesbian would never do it on
I know.
drywall.
We would use an
I'm
anchor.
used to seeing
Tile.
it on like bathroom tiles and stuff. Yeah. What happened to the bathroom?
That was not
Loud.
anchored correctly, right?
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it works
not.
better in the shower.
Or on the floor, just sit.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Power?
He's still
I'm still gagging.
Right. Okay. That's enough. Thank you.
Speechless.
All right. Next, let's play our yes or no drinking game. It's called I'd Swallow That. Of course, we all know this. We've been doing it from the original show on September 20th, 2019? Yeah, 19. We call it I'd Swallow That, of course. We invite you to play along with us at home. Get something to drink. Hopefully it's 90 proof or more. I'm getting ready to ask these hosts 4 questions. If they agree, Allison, pay attention now.
I got it. I'm ready.
If you agree,
Ready.
you take the shot. We have them all in front of us. If you disagree, well, it's going to be a long night for me. Everybody ready?
ready.
Yes? So let's play I'd Swallow That. Question number 1. I'd swallow that. It's Lent, the day after Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday, and I'm going to be giving something up.
Yeah.
What, you drink if you're giving something up?
If you agree with this question, you drink. So it's Lent.
I'm going to drink because I should.
All right, so a number of people drink. What are you giving up for Lent?
So I drank. I'm going to give up for Lent, and I'm going to really try my hardest to make it all the way through. I'm not going to curse.
Seriously?
I'm serious.
In this show or forever?
No, how long is this Lent thing for?
40 days.
40 days. That's that. No, forget that. Hold on, forget it.
40 days.
Forget it.
And
Forget it.
they were shocked that Faye is just committed for no cussing for 40 days. Wow.
Take it back.
All right. Somebody else? What would you be giving up?
If I did do Lent, well, everything, right? Sugar, carbs, dick, right?
give up
Not
dick.
that, with COVID, the dick's been around too much, but the sugar has, the carbs have. So I guess I'll give up dick for now.
Okay. And Howard, you didn't take the shot, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. You're not going to give up any of it, are you? You're just going to commit to them for another year?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to give up something too, but that's the X-rated version of this question. So,
Clean it up.
and for 40 days, for those of
For
you who
40
need
days.
to know.
All right, well,
There you have it.
America, I'll keep you informed of how Josie is doing on that commitment. Let's move on to question number 2. I'd swallow that. HappeningOut.travel is launching the new travel show with Faye as anchor. There is a special place I'm going to travel to this year.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, drink up, my kitties.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it looks like most of us are committed to that. Where are we going?
I'm going to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
So I'll see you guys later.
Excellent. I can tell you a lot about that. I've been to Costa Rica many times.
I'm going to Guatemala for sure at some point.
They're calling you back?
Yeah. I'm getting deported next month. I'm going to Guatemala. No, I'm kidding.
With your
You want the Super
Guatemalans.
Bowl? I'm going to Guatemala. No.
I don't know where I'm going, but for sure going to my living room to smoke another joint.
Wow.
I actually just came back from Disney World last week, but we're gonna this summer we're gonna travel, do a little beach house.
A beach house where?
Seaside on the Panhandle.
Oh, I love Seaside.
Yeah,
That's
we love it there. We were there last summer. It was
Yeah.
really beautiful.
right.
Yeah.
Let's go somewhere more exciting.
Yeah, that
Germany.
sounds
Someone say
boring.
Australia. Someone say New Zealand. Come on, Cuba. I want to go.
Listen, if Australia will let us in.
I don't think they're letting Americans in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
banned.
try Johannesburg. I'm gonna try Johannesburg in the
Yeah,
future,
there you
so.
go. South Africa.
Yeah.
They don't have any COVID
Yeah.
variants there, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. That's good to know.
Yeah, the vaccine's going to protect you. You know, I've been to 147 countries. I talk about this a lot. South Africa I've been to, but I want to go back because my bucket list thing that I currently have right near the top is I want to do the cage dive with the great whites, and that's where you do it in South Africa. Actually, farther south in Cape Town, but go to South Africa.
Or you can just eat the food. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm with you on that one, Tarek.
Skip the shark.
Hey, let's talk about where I'm gonna go.
Where are you going?
You
Let's
guys want it.
bring it on to me. Put me in the center. Thank you.
That comes from our
Yeah.
executive
Yeah.
producer, by the way, Power Infiniti. Those are floor directions going on here.
Myself and my good friend Michelle and her wife and my husband, I think that we are going to try to do something like we're going to go to Kentucky, actually, to go to this museum that what they did is called the Creationist Museum. And what they did is they replicated the Noah's Ark the way that it was designed in the Bible. And they used the Bible specifications to actually recreate Noah's Ark so that for anybody that's interested in how the Bible says Noah's Ark looked, you actually get to go on a real life tour of the Ark. And so we're going to do that this summer.
You know, LGBT America, we really welcome you to episode 3 of The Twilight Zone. And we hope you enjoy tonight's dramatic presentation of... Are you serious? You're going to Kentucky to learn about Noah's Ark.
I was like, but really, are you there?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
I mean, I went to Tennessee, which was super weird, but I went to Dollywoodland or Dolly. What? Dollywood.
Yeah, Dollywood.
Dollywood.
Right
Not
there.
because it's a gay mecca, right?
Yeah.
But why the hell would you go to Kentucky?
Yeah, well...
But
Are you
Oh, I
kidding me?
didn't know
Kentucky
that.
bourbon,
We
food.
didn't-
You like food?
Fried chicken.
I was
going
gonna
to Noah's
say,
Ark, you're not gonna
when I
go
was
eat
in
chicken.
Kentucky, I ate a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't
Kentucky
I
is
choose
ate a lot.
cool.
I ate all the hot chicken.
Yeah, like we didn't choose Kentucky first. It just so happens that this place is in
That
Kentucky.
is
So if you
in
want to go to
Kentucky.
Kentucky,
And of course
you wanna
it
go
is.
there, you have to go to
The-
Kentucky.
The
Did
land
Noah have
of-
good barbecue on the boat? I don't think so.
The land of
Well,
Rand Paul.
it's 2021. No, got it now.
The land of Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell, of course.
Yeah, listen, don't
Noah's
judge
Ark
the
is
land
Kentucky.
by the leaders because the people there, the experience in Kentucky is great. I don't know about Noah's Ark. That sounds cool and all, but my wife is from Kentucky, and we've had the best experiences in Kentucky.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
really? Wow.
I'm going to work really hard to make sure that Power brings along video every step of the way of that experience, and we'll show it to you here at It's Happening Out. Let's move on. I'd swallow that. Question number 3. I'd swallow that. This last year was tough. I thought about going onto OnlyFans.
to watch
Really?
perform.
No. It doesn't say what you were going to do on OnlyFans. I'll explore that after I see who takes the shot.
Drink it, Al. Come on, you know you want to. Drink it.
Wait, there's enough reason.
I mean, I went to
drink it.
All right.
Yeah, it was a tough year.
I don't even know what
Josie drank
OnlyFans
too.
is.
All right.
I have so many friends on OnlyFans. So many.
Is that what we call them, friends?
They. Damn, those reads are hard. They have had to reinvent themselves in terms of what they're going to do. I have friends that have sold naked pictures on OnlyFans. You go onto OnlyFans and you buy the pictures, so you don't get to see the complete nudity, but you buy the pictures. I have had friends that have done personal requests on OnlyFans. All kinds of different kinds of things. Nobody has thought about that. Well, let me zero in on Josie, because you took the shot. You've thought about it.
I mean, I thought about it and I went on OnlyFans. I didn't post anything for me. It wasn't about me. It was about supporting all my friends who were recently unemployed because of the pandemic. And I was like, oh, okay, let me see what I can do to support. And then I saw way more than I wanted to see. And then I don't know how I could. And then I said, well, maybe I could subscribe to one of these things, But then I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to use that email. They can trace it back to me. So it's like, this is a whole dilemma that happens on
curious
OnlyFans.
For you, when you were thinking about this, was this before or during running for mayor here in Broward County?
Wouldn't you like to know, Al Ferguson?
Anybody else? Nobody else was interested in or thought about OnlyFans?
I mean, I watched a lot of OnlyFans, but none of my friends. You guys are freaking weird, okay? You don't follow your own friends on OnlyFans. You follow other people's friends, and that's the way you support the gay community, or that's at least the way I support it.
But the obvious inclination here is because it was tough for you. Did anyone think, maybe I need to add some coinage by going on my own account? On OnlyFans.
Girl, I think you got the answer already by now.
Thank you. And that comes from the executive producer. That comes from the executive producer of. Yes, I'm sorry. What Power? Oh, Power's instructing me to move on. I've got to move on now. All right. No
Wrap it up.
All right. Question number 4. I'd swallow that. Mitch McConnell may be a misguided, malicious, and mistrustful monster whose malevolence and malicious intent mangles truth into a maniacal mess that makes a mockery of democracy. But I still think his speech after impeachment gave me life. Gave me life.
Yeah.
There's a phone call, by the way.
That was my mom, actually.
Your mom's calling going, what's OnlyFans?
I just stopped the call from my own mother coming in. That's how much I love it's happening out. This is one of those scenarios where even a broken clock is right. What, twice a day or whatever?
Twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Mitch is spineless. He has no backbone. He has no moral fiber. But yes, there was some truth in what he said. The only problem is that it comes from somebody that is so bereft of any type of leadership, any type of confidence, that he almost disqualifies himself and invalidates himself because of, you have to consider the source. But yes, what he said was true. I mean, yeah, and he did speak truth to power in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh, my initial thought was, he voted against the impeachment, and I'm like, what the heck? What is he saying? And I'm texting Al, like, what is this dude saying? And Al's like, hold on, Faye, just watch some more. The reality is that by the end of his speech, I actually had hope that Cheeto Head might actually pay for his crimes. It gave me hope that, he won't get away with it.
Yeah, I had no hope that he was going to be held to accountability just because I saw Mitch McConnell make his move before Trump left office, and the fact that he didn't want to start the prosecution then. So that told me that he had a long game in mind. And so when I knew that he wasn't going to vote support impeachment when the trial happened after he left office. So to me, his speech lacked integrity and honor because there was no substance to back it up. And, you know, it's one thing to sit and when the vote is necessary, not vote, is another thing to like beat on the way out, beating a path on the way out to be like, oh, and by the way, he sucked. Like, that's pretty much what I felt that he did. He was like, everyone else had already left the playground and Mitch McConnell was still standing there like, wait a minute, but he's not.
That's
like,
absolutely
so
true.
Dishonorable.
Absolutely true. And it's interesting to me, over the next 2 years until we get to the midterms, can we have a bubble of not worrying about an election? But over the next 2 years, that speech is probably going to be the most viewed thing in America. It's going to come back over and over and over again. Next, let's move out of I'd Swallow That and catch up with the news from Hollywood and the world of entertainment. We call it Celebrity Hot Topic of the Week. And tonight, we're going to discuss an interesting moment for business entertainment. This past week had a National Roast Day. And Wendy, remember, and of course you know Wendy, she took on the challenge. We're going to show you just some of Wendy's burns as she called out different businesses in America and said, would you like me to roast you? And other major brands came in and said, yes, of course we would. And maybe they should have thought twice about taking on Wendy. We call this our Celebrity Hot Topic of the Week. Wendy is shady. Wendy reads the world. Read some of these burns.
I love it. When God opens a window, amazing. Another one crashes.
What do y'all think about what Wendy did this week on National Roast Day? Of course, it was all for fun.
I love it. I told you guys when we did this story on Q News, right, that I didn't know that it was National Roast Day. So when I saw this story, I was like, what is going on with Wendy's? I totally thought that Power Infiniti had taken over their social media feed. That's what I thought. I was like, what?
Yeah. I actually didn't even think that this was legit, so I actually went on, I took a gander on Twitter and then proceeded on my working flight to laugh very loudly in the galley. And the back rows were like, what is this black lady doing? Yes. I was just like, I totally entertained myself.
One of my favorites that we have in here is Bing. Bing challenged Wendy to say, okay, go ahead and read me. And Wendy's response was, Bing is exactly what happens when you misspell Google in your search
engine. Woo. How does it feel knowing all your ratings come from nursing homes who lost the remote?
What do you think about
Either way, the person should get a raise.
What do y'all think about a brand doing this? I mean, this is really cutting edge.
Oh yeah,
for
this
a
is
big, gigantic corporate brand.
Completely innovative and just thinking outside the box. You know, talk about right now during a pandemic. You think that what do you think creative people did during this time? You know, and now they're running these companies for a discount because you know that's what's happening. And so
I just reread the T-Mobile read of saying, please hold, a representative from T-Mobile will be with you 12 to 14 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of risk-taking now, I think.
Is there reward for Wendy's in doing this?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, absolutely there is. You know, it's to be noted that when a company does something absolutely stupid, you say, you know, like when they make a racial faux pas or something like that, people always say, my goodness, didn't anybody at that company, you know, didn't they have anybody at that company to double check this? But when a company has people, creative people like this, to come up with this idea in the first place, and then you have to think about the person that actually sits there and writes these reads. I'm sure it's a queen.
Yes.
I'm sure it's a queen. Ain't no doubt it's a queen. Yeah. And yes, Wendy's is really benefiting from this because, look, we're all talking about it, right? Yeah. You know, it just gets Wendy's in the media eye all over again.
Yeah. Did you just say Willem is sitting there at Wendy's? His only claim.
Willem who?
Right back. All right. Wow. Any final thoughts here in terms of what we watched Wendy's? Were you surprised that other major, super gigantic corporate brands took on the challenge by saying, hey, Wendy's, roast us. They initiated the read. Did that surprise you?
No.
No.
That's a marketing tactic. And you know what?
That's
in
right.
comedy, people do it all the time. They'll hire comedians to come in and roast everyone in the room for a company, or actually the company. And it's the new thing to be, more open and be able to laugh at yourself, or pretend like you are open and laugh at yourself. I'm sure you approve the roast.
Yeah.
I'm sure it costs money. And Wendy's has been doing this for a while. It finally found its voice, which companies have to do that, its Twitter voice. And now it's famous for it, and that's why people are asking them to do it. But it took a while for Wendy's to get famous for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought that
Yeah,
this was like
they've been
the
roasting
first
for a
time.
while.
Yeah,
That
they
queen's
have
been
done
there
it
for a
before,
while.
but not to this not to this extent. My absolute favorite, is the Oreo read, where they said, hey, here's a new flavor idea, Oreo. Don't. That's so good. It's so simple. All right. Well, that's our discussion on entertainment. Next, we are going to report that Happening Out Television Network helps support our LGBTQ community in many different ways. An example is Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We're broadcasting right now from our permanent set in supporting that partnership. The network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's totally live. We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
Hi, I'm Athena Dion, drag performer known from performing on South Beach and in Mykonos, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, we'd also like to thank our set designer, Concepto Modern Living, here in Fort Lauderdale, for making this set in this amazing queer church campus possible. And finally, we'd like to thank It's Happening Out's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our host and guests stay at this LGBTQ ally partner. We encourage you to stay here when you're visiting South Florida. Well, next, It's Happening Out. We like to bring attention for the LGBTQ community to the best thing of the week. This week, we call this Elton John Gets Pricked. Watch this.
Elton John, audition, take one.
My name is Elton John.
Cut there. Little less showbiz, Elton.
My name is Elton John.
Bit more showbiz.
My name is Elton John.
Let's go for your Michael Caine impression. Just let's see what it's like.
My name is Elton John.
Beautiful. Cut there.
The more people in society that get vaccinated, the more chance there is of eradicating the national COVID pandemic. It's really important to know that the vaccines have all been through and met the necessary safety and quality standards.
So this is the bit where you're going to have the vaccine now, Elton. So
Right.
just kind of pretend that you're having the vaccine from a nurse.
Oh,
What was that, Elton?
that was me acting.
Okay. Let's cut there.
And as you can see, I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Elton. We'll let you know.
Oh, well, at this short notice, you won't find anyone bigger.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Michael Caine. I've just had a vaccine for COVID. It didn't hurt. Not many people know that.
And cut there. Marvellous. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
To Michael. Claire, let the little fella know he didn't get the job.
That's it. Okay.
Oh,
What y'all think?
That is the best thing of the week. I love Elton John. I love that he can make fun of himself. Like myself, he is also in recovery, and a news article just came out the other day about how he goes to Zoom AA meetings like I do. I mean, he's just so transparent. I freaking love him. Love him.
Yeah,
no, that was a classic.
That was effective messaging, and I think that the fact that they didn't really take themselves too seriously I think that's what made it the best thing of the week.
Hilarious in terms of, ooh, that shot hurt. But, yeah, thank you, Elton. We'll let you know.
Well, the Brits always have much better sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's move on to the segment that we call What's on Your Mind. Each host is getting ready to tell us in just 30 seconds what is important to them this week. But remember, in just 30 seconds, or you're going to hear this bell. And unfortunately, I'll have to cut them off. So let's start with Power Infiniti. Power, what's on your mind this week?
Well, two things. First, 4 years ago, today, I became a U.S. citizen, and I'm celebrating my Citizenship Day. So that is the one thing. The second thing is that Rush Limbaugh died. And for everybody that's saying mean things about him, remember, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So
it just dawned on me. Did you get your citizenship just 3 or 4 weeks after Donald Trump came to office?
You know what? I did, but here's the wonderful thing. When I got my citizenship, it was Obama that had signed my papers, not Trump. So
that's what I was getting ready to ask. It's like,
yes,
Trump is your signature?
No, he surely was not.
You dodged a bullet. All right.
Sure did.
Taisha Best, what's on your mind this week?
I was going to say Rush Limbaugh died, but I had a great salad. I think that would be more important to talk about than him. And what else is on my mind? Biden was like, nope, we're not going to bail out the people who are more than $50,000 in debt with their student loans. So to me, that tells me that Biden is very much a moderate Democrat and kind of feels like people with student loans are not middle class.
All right. And Chef Josie, what's on your mind this week?
Well, this is an interesting little note. I mean, I don't know how much I can really speak into it, but it is on my mind, and it involves the Secret Service and the LGBTQ community. There will be some announcements moving forward in the coming days, and it'll be an exclusive here on It's Happening Out. But let's just say the Secret Service wants you.
Ooh, wait.
Ooh. They already got me.
I was going to say, and that's already happened. It's happening out once before. And Allison Burgos, what's on your mind this week?
Actually, on my mind this week is forgiveness and judgment and cancel culture. How do we balance all those? You know, I think that with the new presidency, instead of just words, we need to be in action around how we treat others and how we forgive others.
All right, great. And Tariq Turgeman, what's on your mind this week?
Oh my God, so much. But I want to mention this week something dear to Villain Theater. We are in the heart of Little Haiti, and Haitians are being attacked at the moment, immigration-wise. The Trump standards have not been lifted by the Biden administration, so they're being deported rather quickly now, and it affects a lot of queer Haitians. And Haiti at the moment is fighting for their democracy once again and going through very rough times. So little Haiti's on my mind.
It's on your mind. Thank you. All right, next up, at It's Happening Out, if we were standing around the LGBT...
What happened to me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have stuff on my mind too.
Wait.
I'm just not boobs.
All right, next up at It's Happening Out, if we were standing... and Faye, what's on your mind?
Nothing now. I don't have nothing on my mind. No, I'm joking. Two things. One, it's Ash Wednesday, so here's my PSA. Do not rub people's ashes off their forehead. They frown upon that, and don't use spit. They get mad. Two, ashy elbows, all right? People aren't hugging. We're doing elbow things. All right, you chafed my elbow the other day. You know who, when I had to give you an elbow bump. So use moisturizer on all your body, but use extra, Vaseline even, on your elbows. Thank you. See, it was important stuff.
It was totally worth it. All right. My executive producer is telling me to move on now. Okay. Next up, at It's Happening Out, if we were standing around the LGBTQ water cooler, what would we all be talking about? We call this segment the Hot Topic of the Week. Tonight we discuss the Scarlet Letter. Or is it about cancel culture, but instead being about a person? Or could it be old-fashioned shunning in a medieval village or your community? Should we do it? What kind of results does it lead to? Does it make us feel better to shun someone, or does it reflect poorly on our community? So tonight's hot topic is something that many are talking about. From Grinnell to Gabbard to Cawthorn to Schrock. For the LGBT community, when is enough enough? Shunning in our own LGBTQ community. What do you think? Richard Grinnell, Tulsi Gabbard, Madison Crawford, Aaron Schrock. It's just enough. Do we shun them? And others like it. What do y'all think?
I listen, I personally think you can't control anyone, okay? We are all human beings here, and we're going to respond in the way that we feel is the right way to respond, okay? But if you're like one of those kind of spineless people that are just jumping on the bandwagon and we're just going to cancel people because you have no opinion of your own, you need to get out of the conversation, because honestly, if you're going to shun someone, shun them because you know why, okay? And again, that's your choice, all right? But this whole canceling of culture, that also has something to do with holding people accountable, okay? So there's an accountability that comes with being canceled. If you know that you want to be in the public eye, now you have a responsibility and a public, you're a public figure. You have a responsibility. If you didn't do your homework going into it and you just thought that you could just be a private citizen, kind of like our former president, and do whatever you wanted to do and not be held accountable, well, then that's where you're wrong. So I think there's a conversation here about accountability as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we all need to look at our own actions and how we hold people accountable, because I don't think two wrongs make a right. And I think we all have to look at ourselves when we get we let the environment speak for us and become that becomes our voice. I think we all need to look within and hold people accountable, be truthful, but in a way that reflects dignity and respect, and how we live our lives.
Yeah, I feel like if people see that there's forgiveness and a chance to redeem themselves, they'll try to. It'll motivate them to do it and do the work. But unfortunately, I think that in the media, we still see a lot of disparity and double standards when it comes to canceling. Yeah. I do feel that women, people of color, people that, for example, that support Palestinian rights, people who support trans rights, seem to be canceled very easily, even if they themselves haven't done anything wrong or said anything wrong. So there's still a lot of double standards, and like many of us have mentioned now, we don't know why we're canceling people, who we're canceling really, and we need to be careful about that, because that's going to harm us.
Let me reframe the conversation just slightly. Richard Grinnell is the #1 voice in the Gays for Trump crowd. If they recall, the governor of California, he's expressed his observation that he'll run for governor of California. He has touted that Trump was the most pro-gay president in history. Aaron Schrock was very anti-LGBT until he got outed. I think the question here is, at what point do we go, okay, no matter what, we can't accept you anymore, and you can't ever come back? Because in using Grinnell's example or Schrock's example, it's just too much, and so therefore we decide to shun you. What do y'all think about that?
Well, you have to stop the behavior before I forgive you for it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if you're still going to be a douche and you're still going to run with that morality and continue to hurt your community, because inevitably you are gay and you're part of this community, then no, you are canceled. You know what I mean? But if you're redeeming yourself, if you are rehabbing yourself, if you show that you're doing that, then you could possibly be not canceled.
Yeah, well, in neither instance, Grinnell or Schrock represent remorse in any possible way of what their political views are. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I've soaked in what everybody said very carefully, and let me respond to this. First of all, you actually don't. And I am the least person on this panel to talk about forgiveness because I am probably the one on this panel that forgives the least. I have a problem with forgiveness. I'm a petty bitch. Everybody knows that. I just don't forgive. I hold grudges like nobody's business. Nobody's business. And put your hand down, Al. I hold grudges way more than you or anybody on this panel.
No. I was agreeing with you.
That being said, knowing what I do and knowing what is right are two different things. And the truth of the matter is, we don't need somebody to change their ways to forgive them, because we realize that forgiveness is about ourselves, right? It's not about others. So forgiving somebody is really about empowering yourself and moving on. That's the right thing to do. I'm not there yet. I'm just saying that's the right thing to do. That being said, you forgiving somebody does not mean that you have to entertain them in your life, in your world, in your sphere, in any way, shape, or form. And canceling somebody, even though canceling, what people call cancel culture, other people call consequence. And the fact that you have people in our community that are being canceled as a quote unquote punishment is not really so much a punishment. It's the fact that these people have actually worked counter to our benefit. These people have actually worked against us. It's like saying you are a Jew for Hitler, which there were. You are a Jew for Hitler, and you have been turning in other Jews to the Gestapo, but you are canceled in your Jewish community. Is that not understandable? I mean, people do not want to embrace somebody that is literally trying to harm them. And that is what is happening. I absolutely agree with Josie. I think that people who jump on the bandwagon and just cancel for the sake of canceling without knowing what the hell they're doing, they need to step off and step down. I don't agree with mob mentality. If you're going to cancel somebody, cancel them because you are passionate and because you are intelligent and because you're informed about what they're doing, and it speaks to you as a person, and you're saying, for me, this person cannot be part of my world or part of my life, period, point blank.
Final
I definitely think it's about cultural accountability. And for me, I agree with Power Infiniti. I think America has lost its litmus concerning what's right and what is wrong. And I think that's still being taught in high school. We have helicopter parents and others who, when their children make a mistake, they're not helping to correct and educate their child. They're helping them to absolve themselves of the consequences of that mistake. And so because America has taught that when you do something wrong, you don't need to be educated on it, it's excused. There's this mediocrity kind of thing that has helped cultivate this environment to where there is no discipline and there is no boundaries and there is no consequences. And it's especially biased towards white men. And white men have had patternistic behaviors to where egregious errors are not held accountable. And, if we're living in a country right now to where what Trump did in terms of inciting an insurrection isn't being held accountable, that is our litmus now. That is how bad we can be and be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm going to move on here, but I think we're in a natural pause right now. We're in a honeymoon period with the new president, and I watched the press conference from the White House today, and I commented to somebody in our production, isn't it nice just to hear a press conference and it just be a press conference?
A whole sentence.
Exactly. And isn't it nice that we're not hearing from the president over and over and over again in the news cycle all day long, because he's not tweeting and he's shocking somebody for whatever. The normalcy is a bubble that we're enjoying. I'm watching Fox News now, and it's really interesting. Fox News is having trouble trying to disseminate the hate that they've always done in the last 4 years, because they're having difficulty finding it, and they're finding these ridiculous examples and trying to blow them up into something, but right now they don't have anything. We have a natural honeymoon period, which is interesting. I'm sure it'll end, But right now, in terms of this cancel philosophy and the shunning situation on both sides, we're at a natural pause. Let's hope it lasts as long as possible. Well, let's move on. We want to talk about several headlines that are in the news this week. There's lots of silly and important headlines in the news. We discuss them in our segment called Saved by the Bell, but there's a twist here. We are only going to discuss each one of these topics for a single minute. So if any of our hosts talk all minute, they're going to consume all of the oxygen on the topic. Everybody understand the rules? Here at the end of the minute, we are going to hear this bell, which means stop, and we are going to move on. So here we go. Huge news this week on the pandemic front. First, last month has seen, in the last month, a 64% decline of COVID cases in the United States. But even bigger news, a huge study in Israel with more than 600,000 people in it showed that Israel, the most vaccinated country in the world, has shown a 94% decrease in contracting COVID-19 vaccinated. Wow. Saved by the Bell, headline number one, huge drop in COVID cases among vaccinated Israelis gives the LGBT community hope.
We'll be there soon. We'll be there soon.
No, I know we're all speechless here. We can't even process that number, 94%. What is that? But it's good to hear that we are moving in the right direction and that we're seeing the decrease in the infection rate here in the United States. Thank God.
Yeah, I think it's inspiring. I think that's the possibility for our country. We just all need to stay the course. Get vaccinated, which is scary for some people. I have a world of anti-vaccinators around me and that don't want to get vaccinated, so hopefully we'll overcome that.
I think we do have to mention the fact that Israel has refused to vaccinate the 5 million Palestinians that live adjacent and amongst them. So this news is not, for me, it's inaccurate. Also, they've stopped 2,000 vaccines from going into Gaza, using it as collective punishment. Those vaccines were meant for health workers in Gaza, and they are refusing to let them in, and they're not even that many. So,
all right,
going to Israel.
A romantic. Next week, the LGBTQ community will celebrate a romantic week. This identity in our community is defined as having no interest in or desire for romantic relationships. So Saved by the Bell, headline number 2. Are you ready for a romantic Spectrum Awareness Week?
Well, to each their own, but I won't be celebrating that week. That week ain't for me, honey. That's for somebody else.
How do you celebrate that? You don't celebrate, right? Is that how you're...
Continue to watch Netflix alone.
Someone's got too much time on their hands. This is a no-go.
I mean, I like the embracing yourself. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, just an FYI, you can be asexual and be romantic. You can be aromantic and not asexual. So asexual and aromantic are not the same.
That's right.
Aerospec.
Yeah.
It's already, I'm just confused already by the whole intention. So I think they should go back to the drawing board and come back with a clearer intention.
I thought it was like aromatic. I thought it was something to do with like smelly, nice smelly stuff. Sorry, I was totally lost.
That's just because how Al pronounced it.
I have a diffuser.
Wait. We're going to talk about the spectrum awareness of my, but it's going to follow my pronunciation. When I heard this, I didn't know about this. Does it surprise you that we have this kind of awareness week in the LGBTQ community?
It doesn't surprise me. There's something for everybody these days, child.
I know a Gen Z is behind this.
Yeah,
I know that.
that's what I was gonna say. That's a millennial Gen Z thing.
HBO Max, let's move on. HBO Max launched a new documentary this week about a straight couple exploring new people in their relationship.
Yeah.
Caught everybody by a little bit of surprise because of how they titled the documentary. One of the scenes includes the man in the relationship going onto Grindr, and you get to see every detail, including the hookup. Saved by the Bell, headline number 3. A bi man documents Grindr cruising in the new film, quote, "There is no I in threesome."
I know it's in my queue. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm
bet it is in
totally.
your
I'm
queue.
like,
I bet it is in your queue.
I am watching it. This is a Netflix and chill night right here. Okay.
HBO Max. Listen, I thought HBO Max had me at
HBO.
Legend. Now I have something else I have to go watch. I'm sorry.
I am still confused as the title. I'm not surprised that people are surprised that polyamory and cruising exists. The title does not give it justice, it sounds like. And I haven't even seen it yet, so I'm kind of disappointed.
I mean, it goes with the whole trend of, well, not that it's a trend. It's something, a lot of heterosexual couples or people who lived a heterosexual life are opening up to not living a completely heterosexual life, whatever that might mean. So I think that's great. I think that, the more media showing what's actually going on in the world is best. So, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. The hookup. As we just talked about in that headline, a little bit different in the implied words here. I grew up on 7-Eleven for a convenience store and some gas, but I have recently learned about Come and Go, spelled with a K. It's in 17 states, a convenience store with gas. They came to the LGBTQ attention broadly in America this week because of their support of the LGBTQ community, but in a very unique marketing strategy. Saved by the Bell, headline number 4. Gas station releases Come and Gay Rights shirt thanks to a gay streamer.
I mean, how long has this been going on? Because didn't we just watch that show, Hollywood? And I thought this was something that was, fictitious. I didn't know that this was actually happening in the world. 17 states, Al?
I asked somebody in our production who is from Minnesota, is this real? Is there a place called Come and Go? K-U-M and Go? Yep, it's in Minnesota.
Yeah, there's one in Texas and I believe in Oklahoma. So I'm actually used to it. And the Come and Go hat is red with white lettering, if I remember correctly. The convenience store is pretty great, has decent food. And I'm actually excited to see this shirt. A lot of gay men, especially in the alternative sex culture, wears these hats to a lot of events. So now to see Come and Go actually validate and affirm their existence and the marketing that they've done subconsciously is really kind of cool.
I don't know. The MAGA hat was red with white letters, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think the coolest thing about this. I think the coolest thing about this is that the the donation to the Trevor Project. I think that's probably the most important.
All right. Are some people just smarter than other people?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you discriminate, is there a reason why? A new study shows how IQ, intelligence, and education directly affects the propensity to discriminate. Saved by the Bell, headline 5. Science proves it. Stupid people are more likely to be homophobic.
It's true. Most people that don't know the difference between your and their are usually homophobic. You can see it in their Facebook post.
I mean, this is a headline. I mean, and a pig's pussy's pork. I mean, what? This is really.
I mean, you can't expect much from a rock. I mean, you know what I mean?
Wait, let's let that digest for a moment.
Yeah.
Because that's a very sophisticated
My
term.
bacon!
You just said this like this is headline news. Of course, the people that are less intelligent are going to be homophobic. And I will admit that I've said this many times publicly, that yes, I have a bigotry. I am a bigot. I don't like stupid people. I'm sorry. I'm neither proud of that or ashamed of that. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it happens a lot between people in the queer community and in the non-queer community. We find us having to educate people, or having to deal with their intellectual limitations, to put it that way, or having to dumb ourselves down to even exist in their reality.
Somebody write that down. I want to use that.
Hey, listen. They want to get voter registration and voter IDs. Well, then we might have to talk about litmus tests earlier. Okay, we might have to get an education test. You might have to at least be able to read past a 5th grade level in order to vote.
There should be a gay pattern.
I would not like to recap the Jim Crow laws, but that's just.
All right. Well, let's move out of our headlines and Saved by the Bell. We're the LGBTQ community, so let's have some sex and relationships. I'm done. That's it.
That's it. All right. Cool.
All right. Cool.
Let's play another game.
Okay.
Right. Let's play another game. Our game asks, who would you do, why would you do it, and what would you do? To 3 different people. And this is an original game that we played right from the beginning at It's Happening Out, called Shag, Marry, Chop, although we called it something else until we got pulled off the air. And our theme tonight is Instagram. With so much criticism in the last 6 weeks on our social media, who can be there, who can, et cetera, we remind you that there are sexy things with our social media too. So this week we're going to play with the sexiest models on Instagram. And combined, these boys have millions of followers. That includes the hottest men of Instagram, including Matthew Noska, hottest men on Instagram, Andre Hamann, and the hottest men on Instagram, David Gandy. So let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. Matthew Noska, Andre Hamann, and David Gandy. Power, let's start with you. Who are you going to shag?
Well, I wish you guys would have shown a little bit more of Matthew Noska's body. But I mean, I could tell that he's fine. But process of elimination, I'm going to shag David Gandy, because he looks like a daddy, and he looks like he could slap me around and call me Susan. David Gandy. I'm going to marry Andre Hamann. Is that his name? Only because he looks kind of like wild and fancy-free, and him and I look like we could get along for many, many blissful years to come.
How do the tattoos wash over you?
They wash over me like cum dripping off from just exploded dick. They wash over me just fine. And as for this other child, it's simply by process of elimination, because I couldn't see the rest of his chest or his body. I'm gonna have to chop him.
All right. And Taisha, who would you like to shag?
I would shag Matthew Noska with the idea in mind that it would be a one-night stand kind of thing, because I don't think that's just me. I would actually chop David Gandy, because okay. I would actually love to marry and Andre Hamann. He looks like a boy next door, but like goofy and like prankster kind of thing, and I would enjoy a lively, intelligent character that would just like be wild.
He's got a devil's I've got a secret kind of smile mouth, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm totally, sign me up. Nerf balls, everything. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah.
And Faye, who are you going to chop? All right, who are you going to shag?
So I'm going to shag David Gandy, because he looks like he has a big heart. I'm going to marry, right? I'm going to marry Matthew Noska, because he looks like he has a job. All right? And I'm going to chop Andre, because I never trust a guy that wears a beanie.
Okay, I guess that's as good a reason as any. And Josie, Chef Josie, who are you going to shag?
So I am definitely going to shag David Gandy. He looks like a good one-night stand. Probably that's it. And then I'm going to marry Andre, but we're going to have to talk about the beanies because I wear beanies too, and we're not going to be matching, okay? But he looks like a lot of...
Christmas hat.
He does look like a lot of fun, and he has tattoos, so we'll probably have some things to talk about. And he looks like he hangs out in Bali, so I'll be going back there as well. And Matthew, he's not my type.
Yeah,
so,
not your
bye.
type. All right, and Allison,
I hate to follow the lead here, but I agree. David Gandy for the one night stand looks boring, so let's get rid of him quickly. Matthew looks like a Republican. That's a no for me. And Andre's adorable. I totally want to go. I feel like we can go to morning space dance parties. And
Yeah.
he looks maybe like he could be handy because I'm really looking for a third in my relationship. Someone
you?
super handy that I don't have to sleep with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will make you fabulous dinner and great Christmas presents.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Emotional support.
Emotional
Wow,
support.
this is breaking news at this
Right?
moment,
You heard it
girls.
here first.
Yeah.
And
Email us.
speaking of this, by the way, I have to draw attention to it. I believe, pretty accurate here, this is the first time in 2.5 years of doing It's Happening Out where the girls as host outnumber the boys on It's Happening Out. First time ever
Oh.
as host. So interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Terry,
we didn't do a shag, marry, chop of women.
yeah, we have done that.
Oh,
We have done that.
that'd be cool.
And
We
Terry,
can do it right now. Josie, Faye, Allison, go.
oh wait.
Little impromptu.
Wait, we have time constraints on
Yeah.
this show. And so, Tarek, who are you going to shag?
Honestly, no, none of these bros.
No,
No,
we play a
look,
game.
he was at the insurrection. Andrew Hammond looked like he's the guy from the insurrection, the shaman with the horn.
Oh.
Eating
Oh,
organic
no.
food while Muslims report to eat pork in prison.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And this David Gandy, like every other guy in Miami, none of it. Chop them all. I don't need them.
Yeah.
None of these. None of
Apparently,
these.
the executive
Sorry, they
producer
might
did not
be- they
send
might
you
be.
notes about how you play the game. Oh, wait, I'm used to that. There's Power Infiniti. I got it. All right. Before we end the show tonight, we want to introduce you to our sponsor, Jet's Pizza. I'm holding it up here. If you're coming to South Florida, you for sure want to have a try of this pizza. It's the pizza of choice in the LGBTQ community, and that's Jet's Pizza. And we're getting ready to enjoy it here at the studio here in Fort Lauderdale. Well, that's it, America. Another week with you and the world's first and most popular LGBTQ talk show in the world. Before we sign off, let's hear from our host for one final good night. And let's begin with a good night from Power Infiniti.
Well, children in the LGBT community, if you can't tell by now, this is a show that is for the people, by the people, and of the people, since we're all queens, men and women on this show. And the fact that, you know, from the beginning, the two consistent games that we have kept are the drinking game and the sex game. So you know that we're gay. Make sure to keep it here every single week, every single Wednesday, right here on It's Happening Out.
And thank you, Power. And good night from Taisha Best.
Hey y'all, thanks for the wonderful trip and flying with me today on this show. Don't forget to drink your water, fasten your seatbelt, and wear your mask over your nose and your mouth.
Yes, exactly. And good night from Faye. What?
Faye what? Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Faye What, and subscribe and like all that fun stuff. Make sure you catch me on Q News on Monday and Wednesdays with my favorite white guy, Al Ferguson. And we've also got our travel show that's coming up. So we've got a lot going on. And tomorrow, we actually, I will be starting with Unity Coalition and UCTV. So check all that out on my YouTube page, and see you guys next time.
And good luck on the Unity Coalition launch. That's
Thank
great,
you.
Faye. And good night from our top chef, Chef Josie.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in this week with us. Don't forget to follow me, your favorite chef in the community, at Chef Josie on all social media platforms. And also be sure to follow at Bubbles and Pearls because we have these great specials each and every week, and we'd love to celebrate with you. So see you next week.
And good night from Allison Burgos, who's likely going to be in one of our Shag, Marry, Chops. I'm thinking about it through.
Thank you so much, everybody, for having me. I busted my virgin bubble here on what's happening out, so thanks for doing that. And everybody, please stay safe. Please stay connected. Join us at PandoraEvents.com for upcoming events, and stay connected here, and take a break and laugh and celebrate community.
All right, and good night from Tarek Turjaman.
Follow me, people. Tarek in Miami on all social media platforms. I'm actually performing in Fort Lauderdale this Sunday at Shipwreckers, and I'll be at the Villain Theater on Saturday. So come see me and amazing queer performers. If you are a person of color or a trans person that wants to get into comedy but cannot afford it, we are operating scholarships right now to help promote that within those communities. So please contact me, DM me, Tarek in Miami or Villain Theater on all the platforms.
Excellent. Well, America, we ask you, is what you've watched tonight important to you? You sat right here at the kitchen table, right along with all of us. What we're talking about is important in the LGBTQ community. We're in that honeymoon bubble that we talked about. We're not talking about Donald Trump and Donald Trump and Donald Trump, and isn't that nice? We're talking about a lot of new and interesting things. So remember, if it's important to you, it's happening out. Good night, America.